So, hi Isha, good morning.
Good morning, Sunil.
So, how are you doing today?
Awesome. Excited to be here.
Fantastic. Yeah. I think the excitement is mutual. This podcast has been long pending, so I thought we'll do this two in one. So, one as part of the general podcast, and also as a series of events leading up to International Women's Month this March in 2024.
Yeah,
So I thought you would be a fantastic addition to the list of people that are inspiring others, continue to inspire others, and make it interesting for others to listen as well. So
my
welcome
pleasure.
for sure.
Thank you.
Yes. So, I think I don't have to do much of an introduction. So your background shares the same thing. You are into the space of recruitment ecosystem. You are a coach. You are a mental health advocate. You are an awardee for an exceptional women excellence. I also know of you from having association with the She Mantrans, then coaching with metaphors and other spaces. And you said Akashic readings, right? So if that's something, so there are many aspects, and also like a mom for twins. So multiple versions of multiple identities that you carry. So who's your favorite of the identities that you carry?
Who's my favorite is the coach.
Mm-hmm.
What's closest to my heart is my role as a mother.
Absolutely. That is that always comes first.
Yeah.
Hmm. So how is it in terms of working with twins, and how's that helped you in becoming a better listener as a coach?
Yeah, totally. So when you have twins, you'll be amazed when you hear this. So I remember of them coming to me when they were very young. When you call the kids, hey, come, run and come towards us, and they both used to come running together when they started to walk, which was about maybe 1 year or 1.5, something around that time. And I used to wonder, who am I supposed to look in? Whose eyes am I supposed to look in? And because both of them are looking into my eyes, and I don't want to make either of them feel uh, any less important. So from there, it has started, even much before they started speaking, uh, that I want to ensure that both of them are feeling heard, and how both of them hear me. And yeah, so that's the journey that I took. And of course, you need to be a very, very patient listener, when kids are growing up, uh, for being able to give them what you want to give them to the fullest. So
Yeah.
that's where listening starts.
Yeah. So talking of kids, how are you when you were a kid?
I was very naughty. I was very
And this I find very difficult to believe.
I know. When I listen to my stories with my older friends and with my siblings, when we sit down, I was like, "Oh, was that me?"
Any stories that you'd want to entertain us with?
Yeah, so I've done crazy stuff as a kid, very, very crazy stuff of ringing doorbells and running away, stealing flowers from gardens of neighbors, and actually stealing fruits from the vendors, and then going back and giving them money later. But the joy of stealing. Uh, I mean, I don't know if I should call it joy now. It feels funny, but yeah. I used to steal and then I used to go back and give them money. Bhaiya, keep this money. Okay. For what? I don't know. So I was very naughty, very notorious.
No, you never got caught.
I've got caught also multiple times. But
Multiple.
my parents were very supportive. They used to always laugh at it. And I was very talkative as a child in the classroom also, and my in the parent teacher meeting, the teacher used to say that she's super talkative. All is fine, but she's super talkative. My dad used to say that talkative is fine. Tell me something else because it's okay to be talkative. And I said, okay, she's complaining. Listen to her. But he said, no, kids need to be talkative. So yeah,
Yeah. Kids have to be in their natural self, and talkative, not talkative,
Yeah.
naughty, all that. So,
So I think there was a lot of acceptance of whatever I am. As you know, we were three siblings. So, and all three of our absolute different personalities, and there was 100% acceptance of what we were. So I think that helps. Now I feel that that helps. You
mm,
just become what you want to become eventually.
mm. What have you become?
What have I become? Yeah, yeah, that's a very,
Yeah, because you said, in these the PDF that you said you're result oriented, you're wise, you're compassionate, you're cordial, um straightforward, trustworthy, and positive, and a lot of other adjectives. So
yeah,
how
yeah.
would that description be now?
No, that PDF is my profile, and that comes from I did an exercise of understanding from people what they feel about me.
Mm,
I share it with all my friends and my older colleagues and everyone, and that is uh, that. However, what I feel I am truly the core is uh, authentic and playing my true self. That is what I have overall become, and then all other things are part of it, are
mm.
branches from it.
And how's been that journey of being authentic, being your true self?
I think that has also evolved and that has now become, that is what it is now. I don't know if it can evolve further. It may evolve further. Uh, from playing, from being that naughty kid to realizing how right or wrong it is to steal or not steal, and to hurt and not hurt, and being on other sides also. Lot, life teaches you stuff, and so how it has been, it is beautiful now. It is. It is beautiful now.
Wow, fantastic. So, what would be one unforgettable experience that you've had so far?
One, there'll be many. What space do you want to know? I think there
You
can be
are
so
open
many.
to interpret it in any in any
Fine.
format.
Okay. One unforgettable experience. Okay. I think one accident that just comes to me when I unforgettable experiences. We were traveling from one state to the other state, and this was back in 2007 and 8, something around that time. It was winters, very cold evenings, and we were traveling by car, and we were hit by a tribe. They tried to kill us all, and all of that filmy stuff. Even if I think of that image now, it feels very, very Bollywood, but that so happened. So I think that's one unforgettable space.
Hmm. So you survived that day and you lived to tell the tale.
Yes, yes.
So you brought Bollywood. So are you a Bollywood fan?
Not really. I'm not too much of a movie person.
So then, what are your interests? What are your passions?
I think drawing and painting. Uh, I think mandala and stuff like whatever I can do with my hands. I do a lot of craft work also.
Hmm.
So being with my plants. Uh, so this stuff helps me more and gives me more peace.
Hmm. Wow. So gives you more peace. So this discussion is going into, I think, a lot of philosophical,
Is it okay?
uh,
I'll step back.
dense conversations. Yeah. So, like, are you a coffee or a tea person?
Day, totally.
Tea any day. First
Yeah.
bench, last bench.
Second bench.
Teacher's pet or the notorious one? I think I answered that.
Yeah. But you know what? Surprisingly, some of the teachers that I really liked, I was like their hot favorite.
Mm.
And the ones that I didn't like was like they used to kick me in the butt like God. So I don't know. I was a combination.
Crazy. But you've had some experiences in life that you say are unforgettable. What's the most funniest experience you've had?
I'm just sharing what's coming now. I'm sure there'll be more. So mine was a love marriage, and I met
Mm.
my husband in office, and we were together as a gang for a while, for a few years. And then when we were going to get engaged, so I told a few friends, that we're seeing each other and we'll get engaged. And she says, so we're from absolute very different cultures. And she was like, तो बनिए से शादी करेगी? So which means that are you going to get married into that culture? I said, is it that culture? That was such a shocker and such a hilarious moment. I said, I don't know what I'm doing. I mean, I didn't ask about his culture. You should have known. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. I've just grown beyond that. But then that was such nice moment, and I still always remember that. I mean, I was so naive that this is big. It's not a kids' play. It was a kids' play at that point in time.
So how's been that experience now that you're married into this different culture, and I think now almost after many years you've internalized that, you've worked with that.
Worked with that. Yeah, it's good, of course, that makes me aware and keeps me open and very accepting of, and what my family has become between me, my husband, and my kids is a combination of two beautiful cultures. And we adopt what we like about both the cultures, and uh, we have our own. So we are not exactly of either. So that's what I have loved about coming from different background.
So where are you from?
So I'm from Chandigarh. We are Punjabis and actually coming from Pakistan. So my grandparents used to stay in Pakistan during partition. We moved here, and similar from my mother and parents, father side, both sides. But my in-laws are from India only. They're from UP.
Mm-hmm. So interesting. So also you have a pet at home.
Yes, lovely
Their
pet.
family includes the furry pet as well, the
Yes,
furry ones. So I
yes.
am like very strongly afraid of dogs.
Is it?
I had one mad dog bite me when I was a very young kid. So
Oh,
after that post injection, I think that space is still a caution space. So I don't
mm.
very difficult for me to say yes to going to somebody's house who has a pet. So if pets are at least decent enough.
Yeah. So you come to my place and you will evolve. I have evolved as a person of, we had a pet in my parents' home, and I used to be scared of that dog. He was a large, big dog. And when my kids wanted to have a dog, I was like, no, either I will stay or the dog stays, like typical mother thing. And then my neighbor got a dog, and it was a very small, very sweet dog. And that dog used to come in my home, just run into my home whenever finding an opportunity, and used to pee here and there and all of that nonsense. But I don't know, I fell in love with that dog, and that's how I got a dog at home. And you'll be surprised that I want another dog now. I've been asking my family that I wanted, because this one is a small dog, it's a small breed. And
uh,
now I want a big dog, and I know the color that I want, and I know I've already kept the name also. I'm
so
so
you
much
are
in love, and
manifesting it.
I'm totally manifesting it to the extent you'll be surprised to hear this one now. My girls are going to sit for their exams, their final exams now, and I've told them that if you score as much, we'll get you a dog. Both of them I've told this. So which means I'm trying to put it on them that you get me the dog now.
So you are making sure they get the marks that they should, so
And
that
I give them the dog, which is my dog.
crazy. So also you like all our interactions, you've been a very strong proponent of the space of business and sharing, and uh, I think one of the first conversations you said you're an accidental entrepreneur, right? I think that was
Yes,
that was something that happened in our first conversation.
yes.
So how did that journey begin from, say, uh, you know, accidentally getting into that?
Mm. So I would have never thought until, how old was I? I was 28. Until 28 that I want to become an entrepreneur. There was no dream, nothing of the sort. When I conceived my kids, that was like a shocker for me to have had twins. And now I have to leave work because none of the offices will support two children and whatever support staff and all. So I have to leave work is something that I couldn't take. And for me to now what next? There was not much independent work and not much freelance work, and I didn't want to do just anything. So that's what got me into entrepreneurship. And why it was accidental also, because one day I was sitting and my kids were young, they were less than a year old, and my brother-in-law was looking for starting something of his own. He's a strong entrepreneur mindset, and I was guiding him, you can do this, you can do that, and he said, no, I can't do it. And I said, okay, I'm doing it with you. Yes, okay. So we started. I got the business. I got a lot of, because I had my contacts then from coming from my corporate. So I have those relevant contacts, and I set it up, and we did the entire setup, and we did the entire thing. And after about 2 months, he said, "Meko maza nahi aa raha, I want to leave." I said, "Okay." So I'm dealing with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the accident.
And that was how you took it full time.
Yeah, I took it full time.
And how's that like? How's that challenge?
So that was a blessing, actually, what he did to me of leaving me there, because we had set up a small office at home. We were in a small house, and but one room we had dedicated where he and I used to work, and then we had hired one or two people, one person at that time, and slowly started becoming like an office, and then
Mm.
another person, and then another person, and then until we couldn't afford many more people in that room. And until then, my kids became 3.5. They started going to formal school. Okay, by the time, see, the business is established. Yeah, there's something, that business that is running, contracts in place. So we were in recruitment business. We were running an executive search firm. So, and I said, okay, now is the time to step out. So we picked up an
Mhm.
office outside, to start with a co-working space, and then we moved to independent space. So we did pretty well. Uh, so that entrepreneurship that I learned over a period of time, all of those things that I learned were not a choice, but because it happened, it became a blessing. Now I can't go to full-time work. I don't want to go to a job where I come back at 7 or 8 in the evening, and I don't want to be absent from my kids. So I could manage it beautifully. So such a blessing it was.
Absolutely. I think staying at home and working on your own terms, working on with your own timings, I think is such a big blessing. Yeah. So
Yeah,
my
yeah.
first taste for it was through a sabbatical, and yeah, I put it as the the parental pregnancy for my books, and also for a lot of other things to be born because of that.
Mhm, mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, it was that just that experience that shifted. You shared about your experience of starting and becoming an accidental entrepreneur, then sharing, then building. But then there are other pursuits, right? Like coaching, this Akashic reading. How did those sort of evolve?
Yeah, so now, as I told you, I've moved from being that naughty and very on the surface and in the moment fun child to somebody who will take now a lot of time to think, reflect, decide, and then come back. So all of this came from uh, yeah, all of this came from experiences, of course. How from entrepreneurship just happened to me. I think I was young and I didn't have no any experience, and I was just learning on the go. So that piece gave me lots of experiences of handling that team, handling business, handling uh, offices. And when you do offices, there's a lot of admin work that you do, and you handle such, not just of the skill that you have of, let's say recruitments, but other things that you learn along the way. Then from service tax, you move to GST, doing the entire, lots of learning happens. The business had reached a level that I couldn't handle it alone. We were about 12, 13 recruiters. The volume of work was huge, and we were doing pretty well. So I added a partner, and I said that, let's grow this together now. And then we decided to move to Bangalore, and I said, okay, Bangalore is an opportunity. We'll have more startups coming in, and lots of other nature of business will come in. So I think that was my turning point, and we couldn't handle business in Delhi. We'll have to close it down, that phase. And then the phase when I was very low. And one day I picked up the phone and spoke to my mentor in the recruitment space, who had initially helped me set it up. and guided me set it up. And I told him that, I'm in a mess. I'm not able to handle. So I was very, very low at that point. And he said that, why don't you start the recruitment piece afresh in Bangalore? I said, I can't get up and do it. I'm not able to do it. I was feeling, and he understood where I am. And he said, take coaching. And even if you, I don't know what you will become, but it will help you come out of where you are. And it absolutely did. So magically did that I then enrolled myself, and he guided me, said, you take coaching, do the whole journey of learning coaching. And he said that even if you don't make a business out of it, it will transform you, it will bring you out from where you are. And actually did. So that's how I started. And then uh, the true essence of coaching is moving me towards spirituality. And that's Akashic came to me, Tapping came to me, healing came to me. Lots of things are coming, and they're all coming. I don't know
Mm,
what all will come alongside.
mm.
But coach is an identity that will stay with me.
Wow, so amazing. So you got introduced to coaching by getting into coaching. You
Yes,
you were the
yes,
client first, and then now you're the coach.
yes,
You
yes.
have a personal transformation story to share. Mm. And what happens in say an Akashic reading? Uh, so for me, it is like completely a complete blank space. So I'm curious to see what happens there.
So all forms of readings or all forms of healings or asking questions from the unknown space or from the universe, whatever name you give it, um, are based on our true natures, right? What is abundantly available to us. Like in Akashic, uh, we respect and we thank the light uh, that comes. And we trust it to the extent that we believe that it will take us to a level where we can ask questions and we receive answers. And we do.
Wow. So anybody who is interested in learning more, can they reach out to you?
Oh, absolutely. Anytime.
I would also want to do that sometime.
Anytime.
Yes, yes, yes. So, and also moving to that space where you got introduced to coaching. So, how's been your journey as the coach and say a coach learner?
As a coach learner, it is beautiful to first, as in my first year, I think I used to solve people's problems
Hmm.
and then say, okay, I'm not the coach, and then give them answers also. Very, very beautiful answers from all my wisdom. So, to now knowing that, uh, now what I recently feel is that it has to be totally empty, it has to be like a vessel. And when I start coaching only when I feel totally empty inside. And yeah, now it's becoming all the more a beautiful place. It's becoming more spiritual for me. I'm able to use the words that I hear you and I sense this, uh, and which I genuinely mean now. Um, yeah,
Hmm.
did this answer your question?
Absolutely. I think, like I said, this is getting into spirituality and, deeper aspects of conversation, I think, right from the beginning. So, what does spirituality mean for you?
What is spirituality mean to me? Is connecting with myself so deeply that there are very few moments where I know that I can uh, feel the universe inside. I can tap into it. Yeah.
Hmm. So you feel the universe and you can tap into it. Because I'm curious, because your background or your studies was BSc in mathematics. So mathematics and spirituality, I think they're somewhere. What I've heard is they're so opposite that they meet at the opposite side. They meet at infinity and minus infinity, and they are the other side of the circle that you don't see.
Mm.
So I think that was why I was curious, because for somebody who comes from a mathematical equation based space, spirituality can seem a little over the head. It can be a bouncer.
Not really. I think I feel the other way, honestly, to me. Um, Maths is logic, and when you um, Yeah, absolutely. So maths is logic and spirituality is believing that there is logic, but you surrender that the logic will come to you. So
Mhm.
that's the so even maths, all maths is and sciences and everything exists, and you surrender and you say, uh, I'm okay that I don't know, and I'm surrendering that it will come to me.
Mhm.
That's what it means to me. And with all faith, with all love, and with all faith, that it will come. I'm getting too spiritual. I'll draw my boundary here.
I think it is okay that the podcast goes into spiritual realms. So we are going with the flow. We are treating this as another podcast. It's always episode 2, episode 3, if need be. So, and what has been your experiences with people needing spirituality?
People needing spirituality.
Yeah.
Everyone needs spirituality. Everyone uh, doesn't acknowledge that they need spirituality. People think that they need money and they need the cars and they need everything else, which I also need for my means here and for my like now I use the words that for my karmic presence, I need all of this, and I need to be talking to Pongi. But spiritually, I can send you a message and you will receive it and you will pick up the phone and call me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And because I see that space with people who, through coaching, through many other aspects of conversations, be it mentoring, be it like normal conversations, uh, the general that disconnection from a larger ecosystem or a larger purpose. And I think spirituality is one of the realms that provides that through actions, through seva, through multiple different things.
Yeah,
And I can sense that you're somebody who loves to share, loves to help people on their way. So have, like maybe I see it like this. Sometimes people help you because, hey, they've been helped before by somebody when they were in a similar need, or they have not been helped by somebody when they were in a similar need. So either they are doing it such that they've seen the pain of not receiving help, or they've had the joy of receiving help and want to pay it forward. And also somewhere I also put another layer saying sometimes people don't uh, have to have that, but they see potential in you and that's why they help you. So how is it for you when you've got help or you ask for help?
yeah. I've never been good at asking. I was never good at asking, and now I keep telling myself this is something I'm working on. That I tell myself that it is courageous and it is good and it is a sign of strength to ask for help. I was never earlier comfortable. Uh, though I have been a very beautiful giver with all my heart, without any judgment and uh, those things that I will give. But someone made me realize that you don't receive with open arms. I said, okay, good feedback. So I started working on it, and so that's where I am on receiving. Giving, I don't know. It comes to me. I think it's a gift. Yeah, I don't know. Now I sometimes take permission before giving. Earlier, I never used to take permission. I said, "Oh, you need this? You take this." I was like that. But now I take permission that this is what I can offer in case you may be interested. So I think I'm in that space now. But it comes to me naturally, and I see of multiple places as a child while growing up. I know of people who never used to give notes in college, and I was like, "Oh, how is it your possession?" And for me, it is like whatever. Even if I've written you have written, it is something that was given by the teacher, so it is for all. It is in abundance already. So yeah, it comes easily to me to give.
Because I asked this because one of the topics that I'd be hosting in March is generally how we find it difficult to ask for help,
Mm,
and that I found even with me. So if I have to ask for help, it's something that I feel is should not be done until and unless I've tried everything that is
mm,
possible from my end. And one of the things that I've learned latest is that Like there are sources out there that you don't need to reinvent the wheel, and then you can always
Absolutely.
get into
Yeah.
different arenas and different spaces,
Yeah.
just like that. So, also, talking about these spaces, I think our conversations also have evolved with time. And you also share that you're passionate about journaling. You had journals from, I think, 1996 or 99, if I remember.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So, how did that come to be, and what's your favorite thing about journaling?
Um, what is the favorite thing now about journaling is able to now I'm able to, when I've become a coach, I'm able to ask questions which help people reflect.
Mhm.
So that's the beauty that I'm feeling now. What it has been for me is I think just putting my emotion on paper. Uh, Helps a release is when I read my very, very older journals. So I've always been a writing person. Now also people put their everyday accounts on in their applications, different phone or mobile apps or whatever. But I mean, you will see one of my diaries which will keep hisab. Yeah, this spent through Paytm, this spent through whatever, right? And I'm a very pen paper person. And you'll also in my older diaries find some songs written that I would have, that I really loved at that point in time. So
Mhm.
I'm a very pen paper person. It helps release. It helps. It uses all my, like I said, no, you said what is my hobby? Anything that I can do with my hands, like being with my plants, like doing mandala. Even if I am talking to somebody on the phone, I'm either doing mandala or making some scribbles and making some artwork. So yeah. So
Mhm.
journaling comes to me very, very closely. It has helped me in various places at various spots. And even while learning as a child, no, I'll read the chapter or I'll read half a chapter and then I'll write something around it. So that's what I think I embody things when I write them. So that's how journaling comes to me.
Fantastic. So I had two questions come to me. One is, you know, you said baking, and you also said you're doing it with hands, and that's when I was reminded of you being a baker. And also the other question that came to me is, what's the best advice you've gotten from your twins? So you can choose to answer one of them, two of them, in any order, whatever you choose.
Yeah. So what I hear sometimes from one of my daughters, who's uh, assertive in a way, is when I lose my temper or I lose, and she just looks at me in my eyes and says, "Relax," and I actually relax, and she does this, and this actually goes down. So I just love that space with her.
Yeah, I think that's something that I love to also try and see if that works.
Yeah, and she just looks into my eyes like a grandmother, and she
Mhm.
says, "Relax." Like, okay, I need to relax, and I do, and it works for me. So I think that's beautiful. That bond is beautiful. So we're able to exchange those kind of understandings, and the fact that I'm working from home and my kids listen to a lot of what I am saying and what I'm hearing also from wherever I am learning. Uh, I'm so glad that it will bring about some impact in their early stage while they are in their study years. Your next question of a baker. So I've been like a crazy baker always. As a kid, also I was a baker. I mean, the first investment that dad had done was early there used to be large ovens. They were round ovens who had big lids. They need to be picked
Mhm.
up like this. So dad got me that because I used to bake in the pressure cooker and burn my hands. And so since then, I've been baking, and I used to bake. What my memory has been about baking, starting to bake, is rainbow cakes. I used to make one full batter, and then I used to put all rainbow colors, and then put them in a way that not as
Mhm.
neat and beautiful like these bakers these days will do, but beautiful shades of the rainbow will come. And then my cousins used to love it, and they used to say, "Okay, the biggest possible cake. How much can you bake?" I said, "Okay," and I used to measure it by the number of eggs I will add to it.
Mhm.
Okay, so I used to do that. And my kids have picked it up. My one of my daughters bakes everything under the sun, so she's become a baker now. and I enjoy what she bakes.
If you're in Bangalore, I would have directly come here and we could have recorded at your house.
So you should come home and you should taste what she makes, and I'll make you friendly with Fluffy also, my dog.
Oh, fantastic. So what breed is Fluffy?
He's a Shih Tzu, so it's a small
This is yeah, okay.
furry breed.
So when I read Fluffy, the one of the things that I instantly got is this comedian called Gabriel Iglesias. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yes,
So
yes.
Fluffy is I think one of my favorite stand-ups. So yeah. So who's yours?
These days, I am following this guy. I am forgetting his name. His handle is comedian NX. That's his handle on Insta. I love his work, the way he handles himself on stage. So, yeah, these days I'm following him.
So I am also trying to be a sit-down comic and not a stand-up comic.
That you are, that you are. You're a storyteller, and you're such a spread of work that you do. So it's amazing. Amazing.
Absolutely,
And we
absolutely.
are all amazed with when we listen at Pungi is doing this and this and this and this and this never ending list. How do you do it? Relax.
Yeah.
Relax.
I think that for me is that like everything is an act of how do I say, like act of God, an act of inspiration. So for me, I do not feel at any point of time in any stress at all. So I feel that this is I think I get into flow very quickly. So multiple flows. So what I experience the flow in say coaching is very different from say flow in writing. So I can switch off say 1 hour of coaching and say sit down for 15 minutes and write something. That is going to be a different flow. Then something else comes along. I have a conversation with somebody else. Then I maybe do a poster, then I do something planning. So everything is generally like a lot of energy that is coming inside. And even when I am writing, I do have a like the pen name is purely there because I am not the one who's writing. As in Sunil is not the one who's writing.
Oh, wow.
It comes to Sunil through
Mm.
yeah the universe is penning it.
Yeah. So
To
see
me as
who's talking of spirituality.
yeah, spirituality for me is always been a easy topic to talk about.
Yeah.
My entry into spirituality was when I was maybe 7, 8 standard. In from
Mm.
that, I think that's when spirituality has been a very strong aspect.
Beautiful.
So, do you have a question for me? So we do this
What happened? What's
many
your tipping
podcasts.
point when you talk of
Yeah.
spirituality?
I think tipping point for me in terms of spirituality was my first experience with seeing, somebody pass on. So that was a tipping point, and I think that's when like books came to me in terms of deeper understanding of Vivekananda, Paramahamsa, healing,
Wow.
and at some point that came at a very strong intensity, and maybe at some point it like sort of had a deeper lull as well, and things took over, puberty happened, and stuff like that. But essentially, there's always that deeper core. And for me,
Mm.
that like somebody's passing was actually like a trigger to see, okay, what is life all about? That question was asked very early in my, and
Mm.
that sort of had, in terms of some of the impact and repercussions, positive ones, in terms of me becoming a lot more grounded in some of my activities,
Wow.
and that's been there. And I also like that sometimes the medium is through me and not me as the person. So all a few of that, say volunteering, contributing. So all that have come through these spiritual thought processes. Not much of a religious guy. I love my temples for the food that it offers. Nature.
Yeah,
But yeah, I
beautiful.
think temples can be at any place where you are. So that's my philosophy. I have nothing against temples. I like it's one of the places where people see it. Yeah, it's somewhere I feel that a temple can be at any place wherever you are.
Yeah.
Mm. So we are getting into
Good.
spirituality,
Yeah.
philosophy.
That's what is meant to come to our
Spirituality.
journey together.
Hmm.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think also, for me, sometimes I'm able to see some of these poems, and I think I also remember one of our conversations where we went some of your descriptions of what you're seeing in metaphorically and all that led me to the space of writing a poem for you and all that. And in that, you say, you're looking at overlooking a valley and seeing how things were. You're seeing it from the top of a valley and you feel like you're a tigress. So I was, and then a poem came. So I just wanted to bring that back to you and say, uh, I not fishing for compliments, but how was that coaching session for you?
That coaching session was, um, that was the, honestly, Pungi, that was the first time the metaphor was explored so deeply.
Mhm.
I would have mentioned that I've gone through uh, dark days, and now it feels like a hill. And when I look back, this is what it senses. But that entire conversation, and I'm getting goosebumps as I say this now again. That entire conversation, we only spoke about those hills. Yeah. And then you had asked me, I remember very clearly that, what persona I was living then and now and so on. So, and the questions that you asked later that, how is the tigress and how's all of that. So these personalities have evolved over me over a period of time, and it's so beautiful to look back and now not look back from the good and the bad days, but look at it from the hilltop, and that those metaphors, it really makes me feel good, and I think I just have that image in front of me.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was
Hmm.
beautiful.
Yeah. So what would you tell yourself as advice to maybe 20 yourself,
Advice to
a 20-year-old Isha?
have more fun. Yeah.
Yeah, and be more naughty.
Yeah,
Pluck,
absolutely.
pluck more flowers from the
Yeah,
neighbor's garden.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. In my college days also, I was the naughtiest girl around. And yeah, and be more naughty. Yeah, be as whatever you want to do, because life will happen and it will make you what it wants to make you, and it's not in your control and your parents control and nothing at all. So live yourself to the fullest. I don't want to change a bit of what has happened.
Wow. So have more fun. Whatever happens will happen.
Will happen.
Um,
Have joy in the every moment. Like I'm talking to you right now, it should be joyful. That's what my mantra is for every day. My some days are hard, some days are nice, some days aren't. But those days also, like my father-in-law is hurt these days. He's had a shoulder displacement. I said, okay, live this joyfully. We're together. So that's what has come to me now. That fine,
so seeing it.
prasadam.
Yes, yes, yes. For those that are listening to this, so we have a common friend, Tapan, so who's given us an ABCD of
Yes,
life, and one of the thing is accept everything as Deva Prasadam. So that's point D. What is ABC? I think that puts us at a point to have Tapan on the next podcast.
yes, yes.
Yes, amazing. So we're almost at the closure, Aisha. So how is this conversation for you? What came up in this podcast for you?
Time just flew. Okay, I think we can go on and on and on and on. So it is beautiful.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the space that you create for people to just float is beautiful. And I've heard your other podcasts also, and a few of them just told me that okay, it is time to say yes and just come to Pungi and say okay, we'll
Yeah.
record.
Yes, yes. So I think I'm very strongly of that opinion that sometimes, the universe puts people in your way and puts circumstances in your way for you to do something for yourself and for like the jigsaw is getting completed for somebody else.
Absolutely,
Your jigsaw is being shared by others. So
absolutely.
and I'm hoping that through this, you're able to inspire more people, more conversations. Because moment I asked, I want to do a podcast, people ask me what profile of people do you want here? What should they have been good at, what should have been their achievements. I said, like good people.
Good people, yeah.
Good people is enough for a conversation, and things can.
Thank you for putting me in that bucket. And thanks for not sharing any prompts with me, any questions with me that I come prepared. I really wanted that I sound nice, but now that we floated through this, it feels like it's just so good to just float. Thank you for not
Absolutely.
sharing any question.
Absolutely. So I've done this many times. Like, this is my 47th podcast, and I think maybe two podcasts when they really wanted questions I had to give.
Wow, half a century on the way.
Oh yeah,
Huh?
absolutely. Half a century to
Wow.
go, and hopefully soon.
I'm sure. I'm sure. You're
Absolutely.
good at numbers, no? We've seen you do your level two so quickly.
Yes, yes, yes. So any closing message that you would like to give to the listeners and viewers, Visha?
Live your days, every day, every moment with ease and joy. And I think the overall objective, the theme with I live it with is fulfillment. So if this moment I'm feeling fulfilled talking to you, and I want to do another thing which gives me fulfillment. So every micro decision of mine is based on these elements of ease, joy, and fulfillment. Um, if
Wow.
that is something that serves you,
Wow, amazing.
thank you.
Thank you for your time, and let's continue to do more podcasts as and when time progresses. And thank you for your time, Isha. Thank you for
Thank you, Sunil, for having me
gracing.
here.
Absolutely.
Bye.